hearts of men. The Shadow knows. Friends, strangers, and enemies, tonight we are going to take a look at MezcoToyz 12th scale figurine of the Shadow. Not to be mistaken with the Hedgehog by the same name, the Shadow originated as a radio program in the early 30s, dramatized to show listeners both young and old alike that crime does not pay. The series would center around the heroic exploits of Lamont Cranston, wealthy man about town, who learned to use his powers of hypnosis while abroad in the Orient, and now he uses his powers to take on villains and gangsters. Shadow would eventually go on to become a magazine, make its way into comics, and even inspire the creation of heroes like Batman and the Stranger. In 1994, Alec Baldwin starred in the movie adaptation of The Shadow. It's an underrated film, something that should honestly have gone on to have its own quadrilogy. Now that I've explained the character, we can go on to reviewing the figurine, but before that, a word from our sponsor. Would you like to continue contributing to the world's rapid climate change and the inevitable destruction through the burning of fossil fuels? Then this winter you should purchase blue coal. The temporary comfort it provides will keep you and your family warm while doing irreparable damage to the ozone layer, and shower the earth in smog and acid rain. But no need to concern yourself with that. After all, it won't reach such catastrophic levels until you are all dead and gone. Happily live your life in comfort while damning the rest of your species. Buy blue coal now. And now, on to the main event. The exterior of the box shows a close-up of the Shadow's face, along with the brand name, in the lower right-hand corner. And on the top and lower middle of the box, we have the signature catchphrase for the radio show. The right and left-hand sides of the box are mirror images of one another, of the Shadow aiming his gun at the viewer. And the back of the box shows what accessories are included for the figurine. We'll be exploring these hands-on very soon, so there is no need to linger here. Now let's get him unboxed. I did take the time to assemble it somewhat prior to this review. When you first open the box, the Shadow was not wearing his cape or his scarf, but as you can see, I have assembled him in the appropriate attire. The inside of the box has 3 layers to it. The top houses the figurine, his different head sculpts, and 2 accessories, while the second layer has an alternate scarf, weapons, and 2 other accessories. And the third layer just houses a base for the figurine. So, before I do anything else, we are going to take a look at the base. Since I'm going to have to use that to stand him up, we may as well nip that in the bud. The base is black, with his name displayed across it, and the extendable arm here holds him without puncturing his back, unlike your Figmas and Neanderoids. So big props to that. This peg here can also be used for him to stand on if you don't want to use the arm. Gotta appreciate the variety. I have explored a few other reviews prior to scripting this one, so I do know that he is wearing a 3-piece suit with a handkerchief beneath his long coat. And it is rather constricting. I'm not going to undress him, but I can show you the layers beneath his collar here, where you can see his suit and tie beneath the overcoat. And much like the Red Death figurine I reviewed before, this cape appears to have metal inserts so you can pose it in various ways. He is also wearing his dual holsters for his pair of 1911s. An accessory they included 2 of, for some reason. The other is here, and it looks like the holsters are actually positioned slightly different than the one he's currently equipped with. I'm assuming this one is for actual use with his guns, and the other is just for display. Another 2 accessories of his are these 2 alternate heads, and while I don't see much difference between the first one and the one that he is currently displayed with, the third head is obviously different. showing a sinister smile that tells criminals do not fuck with me. His alternate hands range from closed fists, different hand signs, which I assume he uses for his hypnotic abilities, and semi-closed hands for gripping the other accessories. There is also this one offhand sending out this red flash. I believe this is also a display of his abilities. Be careful with this one. You may stick yourself or break it. The last accessory on the top layer is a radio, TV, telephone typewriter? What? Okay, so I don't actually know what this is, but it's very 40s, 50s sci-fi. Oh, apparently it's two-way radio with an extended phone according to this guide here. Look, I do like the Shadow. He's a great hero, but I don't know every single last detail about him. But basically I know him. Basically. The middle layer, again, has his alternate scarf and these scales, which he can hold on to. On the left-hand side we have gangsters and criminals, while the right-hand side is police officers. I found that this thing had a bad habit of getting its chains tangled up when I was posing it, and I'm thinking that maybe there was a better way that this could have been put together. His other accessory is a crystal ball with a skull inside. This one I don't particularly care for at all, because of the lines. See here, this is how the mold was made to fit together around the skull. I guess if you look at it head-on, it's not too noticeable, but still, there had to have been a better way of making this without having it look this tacky. Now we move on to the guns. Yes, my favorite subject. The Shadow has his two 1911s with removable magazines and movable slides. The magazines are quite numerous as well, but no pouches to contain them on his person. Same thing with these flashes here, so I'm just writing these off as replacement parts. Good thing for that too, because as I was inspecting this figurine to write the script for this, I ended up losing one of the flashes. Still can't find it either. Oh, wait a minute. It just fell in with one of the other flashes. Oh, good. I'm also led to believe that these flashes here are made to simulate rapid fire and single fire respectively, based on the way that they are shaped, with these flashes here being former. And his final weapon is a Thompson submachine gun with a drum magazine. This magazine can also be removed, and there is a backup for it as well. This also has a flash here, much larger, to emphasize the automatic rate of fire. This one makes me nervous when I display it, though. It feels like it'll break when I try to insert this tiny peg in the muzzle, since the flash is much heavier than the peg itself. Honestly, I worry that it may snap the barrel, too, if I don't position it carefully, and oh look! I bent the motherfucker. Well, let's hope that straightens out again. The weapon also appears as though it's seen some use, having some scratches and cracks on the frame, while his 1911s are in premium condition. Pretty great figurine for the most part. I'm not sure I really cared for the way some of these accessories were manufactured, the biggest flaw being the molding for the crystal ball. Scales are cool, but I feel I may end up breaking those since they have the knack for getting tangled up. And hopefully I don't run into any more issues with the Tommy gun, because I don't think that can handle getting bent repeatedly. And his clothes were too constricting, hindering the possibility for some more unrestrained poses. But the overall detail that they put into the Shadow himself, and the fact that the manufacturers included replacement parts, in the off chance something could get lost or destroyed, more than makes up for it. In the end, I give it a 7 out of 10. You know, when I initially bought this thing, I thought it was going to be a 6th scale figurine. Then I read the fine print. Not that I mind, though. That just gives me an excuse to pick up another one. And if I outbid the others trying to acquire it, maybe we can feature him on the channel as well. But with that all being said, here endeth the review. Stay tuned until next time we meet. The wheat of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay.